That's the biggest piece of it. And then you get to serve your country at the same time. So.
Mention to them also the health benefits.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We don't pay anything for our health care or our TRICARE. So, you know, whenever my kids get sick, and I got 4 of them, they go to the physician. They get seen, and I've had no issue at all with any type of care. And I'll tell you this too is, as a physician in the Army and the other services as well, you're able to spend time with the patient, and the patient comes first. You know, you're able to order whatever labs you need, whatever x-rays you need. I went in complaining of a leg problem. I was sent for a bone scan the next day. That's unheard of in the civilian world. So the medical care is great. So that's all covered for you, for your family, for you and your family. You know, dental coverage for the active duty member, everything is covered 100%. For family members, there's an annual amount, and I don't know what that amount is. I think it's around $1,500. But all of your cleanings and that sort of thing are covered. Cleanings, X-rays, and that. So when it comes to getting your kids braces, that sort of there's a cap on that around $5,500, I think. So you got to pay the difference if you can't get it for that, which most people can. The other benefits, you know, you get 30 days of leave that you accrue every year. So in addition to all those holidays that are already there, and the Army's really good about taking a holiday and making it a 4-day holiday. So like Columbus Day was on a Monday, we were off Friday. So you're off Friday through Monday, and those don't count towards your 30 days. So you're accruing those, you get those every year, and it rolls over up to, used to be 60 days. For a while they went up to 75 days. I think they're dropping it back down to 60 days is the balance you can carry. So my goal is always to get up to 60 days, and then that next year I use 30 days of leave going somewhere. So it's a good benefit to have. And all that time is paid. I mean, it's all covered. Some of the other benefits that you get that's not included in your base pay is your housing allowance. So if you choose, and wherever you get assigned, you can live in housing. A lot of places, if you're single, don't have single soldier housing anymore for officers. So you go out on the economy, you get a house, apartment, whatever. But if you're married, have dependents, then typically there's on-post housing if you want that. If you want that, there's no cost to you at all. Utilities are all covered. It's all, you just live there. So, yes.
So you always have the option to live off base?
Yes, you do. Yeah, I've done both. I've lived on post when I was down at Fort Polk, Louisiana, because I would not live off post there.
I did my basic
housing housing on Fort Polk was much nicer than off Fort Polk. I felt like I was driving through National Geographic. But so while I was there, I didn't get a housing allowance. Okay. But living here, I live in Irmo. So I get a housing allowance. It is not taxed. It does not count in your taxable income. Okay, so for instance, my rank, it's based on zip code and rank, and whether or not you have dependents. So my housing allowance is $1,900 a month, and I can easily rent a house in Irmo for that amount. And it's just in your check, so it's not like I have to give anything back if my rent's lower than that. So that's a nice benefit. Some places you go, it's going to be a little bit, it'll be less than that, but it's usually based on the economy of the area. If you go to Northern Virginia, it's a much better deal. It's about, for my rank, about $2,800 a month, but then it's much harder to find a house in Northern Virginia for $2,800 a month. So, what are the benefits you get?
One of the biggest benefits for being a physician in the Army is malpractice. All right, everybody oohs and ahs, well, you got an OBGYN doctor in Central Texas that brings home $600,000 per paycheck. $400,000 of that's going towards malpractice insurance. All right, we don't have that malpractice insurance in the Army. Nobody's going to sue you as an Army doctor. They're going to sue the government. They'll take it up with the government, but you aren't going to have to worry about that coming out of your paycheck. And that can be a very, very large amount, depending on what specialty or field you like to go into.
Yeah, there's a slight difference to that. You'll have malpractice insurance because it's required. It's just not paid by you. So, yes.
Speaking of that, the stereotype is you get paid more in residency, less as a real doctor. Is that true? Or
no, because it's all based on your rank.
Okay.
And then once you're done with residency, then you qualify for board certification exam. depending on your specialty, and then you get annual amounts on top of that for your professional pay. So no, your pay only goes up. And
Right.
then once you're done with your owed back time, your payback time, then that's when the Army's really going to throw money at you, depending on what your specialty is.
Right.
Multi-year retention bonus money.
But like compared to people that aren't in the military, like are
Oh,
the pays equivalent
yes.
or?
Yeah, the pay, you're right there. For when you're in residence, you're going to make more money
Right.
than the average resident.
Yeah.
Now, when you're an active duty physician, pay is probably going to, more than likely, going to be less. And we can do exact pay comparisons. Like, say, you have to look at apples to apples. You know, you got to pull out that malpractice insurance.
Exactly.
If you're working at a clinic or you have employees that you have to pay,
Right.
you know, you got to look at all of that stuff to really marry it up. And one of the biggest things too is when you are in medical school or dental school, they're not teaching you how to run a practice. You know, they don't teach you any business classes, I don't believe, in medical school. So it gives you a great opportunity to get those years of experience because you're going to be in charge of clinics or dental clinics and that sort of thing. So you'll have that experience on how to run one, how to manage employees, how to deal with insurance. We do insurance, it's just one insurer, you know, with TRICARE. Unless you're working like at a medical center, because Brooke Army Medical Center has people come in there, civilians all the time, because it's a burn unit as well. And they do, you know, emergency stuff for the local area. So they still get that experience dealing with those, you know, health insurers and that sort of thing. So, yeah, no,
I have two questions. One, isn't residency pay plus the officer pay?
no.
So if
Yeah,
you get,
because
like, say, a civilian residency, don't they pay you a residency salary, then the military pays you officer?
Well, you're talking two different things there. Because if you're in a civilian residency and you came through the HPSP program, then you're on an education delay and we're not paying you at all. So you're only making what that civilian residency is paying you. In the Army residency, you're paid as an active duty officer. So there's not a residency pay for that. So it's just whatever your rank is, which you'd be a captain, and that's the pay that you receive for that.
Okay.
Make sense?
Now, what I have a question about, say you go to a dual school where you do a 5-year program, like just to get a Master of Business plus the MD. What are the situations with that?
That's a good question. The main focus of this scholarship, though, is medical school. So they're going to give you 4 years to get through medical school. Don't see them really, you know, and I would have to verify it, but just my own knowledge base, I don't see that being approved.
Okay.
Because we don't really care if you have a business degree. You know what I mean? So the whole goal is for you to finish medical school.
Yeah, if you want to take that later on, after you've done your payback, and I've seen this, I've worked with physicians that, you know, they're not sure, cardiothoracic surgeons aren't sure what they're going to do when they get older and they're going to be able to operate. They'll go ahead and they'll pick up a fellowship at Harvard going into law medicine. Things like that, they can pay for that later on down the road for you. So that's, again, long-term health education opportunities.
But the military is very big on education. And of course, they'll let you go out and get additional education, but then you sign up for more payback time when you do that. So the other thing about the military, as soon as you get close to being done with your payout time, you're going to be offered all kinds of carrots. You're going to be saying, okay, now we want to offer you this, this, and this. Of course, it's your prerogative to either accept it or not, but they're going to try to hang on to you as long as they can and get as much out of you as they can. But again, it could be to your advantage big time if you're the kind of person that wants to hang in and stay with them for another 20 years. But they will always be almost pressuring you to stay in, almost intensely enticing you to stay
It's a
in.
huge carrot.
What kind of carrots?
Money. Money.
Cash, cold hard cash.
But it's for your life. Your life. They're wanting to pay you for though.
So it's all time.
How big of a carrot?
Well,
It depends
well,
on
just-
if you're a thoracic,
Right.
cardiothoracic surgeon.
For instance, right now, if I were to, if one of you were a general surgeon, board certified, for 4 years I could pay you $400,000. That would be your bonus.
Just
So
to come
it's
in.
Just to come in, and go 4 years.
And see, that's the other thing. You guys can go through med school and all this. get out and practice 3 years, and then go to the Army and say, hey guys, would you like for me to come and be a doctor for you? And that's what he's saying. And if you're, what kind of surgeon did you say?
General surgeon.
General surgeon, and you've been out, you've gone through med school, you've gone through your residency, you set up your practice for maybe 2 or 3 years, you've got a clean record, you're worth $400,000 to the military just to sign you on. And then you start working with them, making buttloads of money too. Because you're going to come in as what, a colonel or something?
Well, that depends on years of experience.
Yeah, right.
Typically, you're not going to come in above my rank, which is major.
Okay.
Docs, what we can guarantee, if you have that medical degree, dental degree, vet degree, cap. Anything above that years of experience, it's all calculated into some formula that spits out an answer at the end.
But when they give you that $400,000, they say you're going to be with me for at least 5 years. 4 years. 4 years. And then after those 4 years are up, they will say, here's another $400,000. You want to stay some more? We'll keep you in. So that's
throwing it at you. Like I say, there's additional pay for having those degrees that all of you guys are looking for. Okay. And say once again, it's all based on that specialty because you get annual pro pay, you get board certification pay. Typically, it's about say $60,000 to $70,000 more than what I make at the same rank. So, but I didn't go to school nearly as long as you guys are going to have to go. So, it's all. I mean, it's all in what you want to do. And the Army, if you just go, 8 years of experience, Army versus 8 years of experience in the civilian world, the pays are not going to be probably the same. Okay? More than likely, the civilian pay is going to be higher, even after you subtract everything out. Okay? But I don't know what you're going to owe at the end if you go the civilian route. So, I mean, if you choose this route, then you can obviously change over at any given time. Now, we are, as we've been talking about, going to throw a lot of stuff your way to try and keep you in. Because the Army needs physicians. We've been fighting with Afghanistan for 9 years. So, but on the other side of that, you get a lot of experience in the military that you wouldn't gain doing anything else.
There's a wait list.
Yeah.
General surgery, cardiothoracic surgery, anesthesiology, nurse anesthetists. There's a wait list to go over to Iraq. Those guys. Neurosurgeons.
what do you mean a wait list? What do you mean?
They're trying to get over there.
Yeah, people want to go.
Want?
Yeah.
That are in the military now.
They're in the military now, and they are what's called profis to a unit, which is professional filler system. If you're a doc, your day-to-day routine, you're going to be working in a fixed facility or a regular hospital. But those combat support hospitals, you are a professional filler for that, meaning if they deploy, you would go with them. There's a list of people waiting to try and deploy to go over there. And the reason basically is if you're a surgeon, you get more cutting time in a 90-day rotation in Afghanistan and Iraq than you're going to get in a year here. So the experience level is just astronomical. You know, orthopedics, you're going to see way more orthopedic injuries, blast injuries and that sort of thing with us. So, like I say, you're going to see some things that regular path you're just not going to see. But like I say, it's not for everybody. But I've thoroughly enjoyed my almost 15 years in. So it's great. I've deployed twice. Last time, it's been a while actually, 2003 to 2004 in Iraq. So it was by far the best time in my military career. Now, I had 3 kids at the time, so that part of it, yeah, that was kind of rough. That was not fun. But the worst part was leaving. Once you got over there, as a company commander, I had 74 soldiers that were my responsibility. So it was the best time in my career because it was the main time where I was allowed to do what I had been trained to do and didn't have the daily mess that you normally deal with. So, missed my family, but at the same time, it was a fantastic experience.
Let me say what I normally say to everybody that asks me as the advisor here. Should I go HPSP and see what these guys have to say? I say it's not for everybody, and that's what Major Miller just said. And I say you need to be willing to let somebody else give you orders. You need to be okay with somebody telling you today we're going to do this, and then come tomorrow they're going to change their mind and says no, we're going to do this. So you got to be a person that's that is able to go with the flow, realize that somebody else is in charge, and you're going to be told what to do. Okay, so You gotta be okay with that.